Welcome everybody to the end of the year awards with Sam Roberts, Kathy Kelly, and Pat McAfee looks fucking stupid. Fucking stupid. Stupid, man. He looks dumb. He's got shorts and tennis shoes on with a fucking dress shirt and a jacket. And he looks like the upper half of him tried and the bottom half of him was like... Welcome everybody to What's NXT for New Year's Day 2020. I am the fresh wizard of no DQ Stefan Osborne, joined as always by the General Jerry Slaughter.
Good evening, wrestling fans.
That's right. Wiz Fresh, the fresh wizard. Shout out to Colin Andrew. Okay, so we didn't get like anything new. Other than the announcements for the end of the year awards, male and female tag team, up and coming superstar, the other name for up and coming superstar, rivalry of the year, and for some reason they took the male and female and pitted them against each other for one more award, and I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense for two reasons. One, it's male versus female. That doesn't work. There's a reason there's divisions. Also, we weren't told this ahead of time to vote one versus the other. Either they tallied the votes that they had gotten from their previous, I guess, polls.
Yeah. But
that doesn't count because they were up against like 5 other people in their own division versus being up against each other. I feel like the winner might have been a little different if it had been one-on-one, honestly.
Yeah.
What it ended up being, yeah, it could have been a little different if it had been a little more democratic, but still. We did get all of the announcements. We also got 3 matches from takeovers. These are the top 3 in the matches that were voted upon for match of the year. Mm-hmm. So we got the bronze award, the silver award, and at the end of the show we got the match of the year.
Yeah.
To start the show, the bronze winner of match of the year is the tag team match, the 8-man ladder match for the NXT Tag Team Championships. We had the Street Profits versus Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch versus Undisputed Era versus, there was one more team. Who was it?
Forgotten Sons.
There we go, Forgotten Sons. I done forgot. And
they forgot you.
I mean, you want to talk about this match at all?
Not really.
We did it already.
Yeah.
We did it. We probably had a bunch of other people helping us do that. And
but it was well deserved, I'll say that much, for at least the 3rd place position for like match of the year, because that match was just stellar.
Yeah, 2nd place and 1st place were both complicated in their own right. This match itself was just
self-explanatory, and for the tag team titles that were vacated.
You know, for what it was really brilliant, and I could have swore that it was like that match of the night that outshined the whole show, but I can't remember.
Oh, it was. It was the first match of the night.
Well, so this leads brilliantly into the first award of the night for end of the year, Tag Team of the Year. We had the Street Profits versus the Grizzled Young Veterans versus the Viking Raiders versus the South Wales Subculture versus the Undisputed Era. Yeah, I have this argument. I don't think the Viking Raiders can win because, to my knowledge,
we didn't have the Viking Raiders there.
Viking Raiders didn't wrestle a whole lot in NXT. I remember these guys named the War Raiders. They looked an awful lot like them.
The Viking Raiders showed up, I think, for one show.
Well, it didn't matter because Undisputed Era, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, essentially, kind of Roderick Strong. Yeah. I mean, basically all of them. Because they've all at one point or another been one of the persons defending the tag team championships in a match. I think with Adam Cole that was last year, though. That was 2018.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, last year, you folks know what I mean.
Right out of the box, though, we get those two winning, and we have to talk about Kyle O'Reilly real quick. Who looked like he pretty much put on anything he could find.
If there's anybody that dressed worse than Pat McAfee,
it was Kyle O'Reilly, but he did it in almost such an ironic way that you had to kind of laugh.
Yeah, it looked like he either planned to not match or just didn't give a fuck enough.
He looked like one of those drunk guys that go to those racetracks really early in the morning and just start placing bets.
Not only did none of the pieces of clothing that were shown match altogether, I don't think any one of them matched with anything else on his outfit.
No.
In any way, shape, or form, to steal a phrase from the general. This is going to lead us into Male Superstar of the Year. Well, actually, it leads us into Undisputed Era coming out to accept the award. Mm-hmm. To what I want to coin #Empty Sale Arena.
Yep.
Because
Full Sail Arena is empty except for one man, William Regal. And probably a camera dude.
I don't think we got one word out of William Regal, though.
No, we didn't.
This whole episode. He was out there once or twice. And, no, nothing. We got 2 words out of somebody else, but we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
This was okay, I guess. Undisputed Era come out, and Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish get to say something, of course, because they're the ones that really are the tag team here.
Yep.
And
besides, we'll be hearing a lot from the mouthpiece of Undisputed Era quite a few times.
I would say this is why there was a time limit to get your votes in by the 29th, because on the 30th, they did all of this. They recorded all of this so that people could be off for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and they wouldn't have to come to Full Sail about half lit.
Mm-hmm.
And
that would have been irritating.
Now we move on to Male Superstar of the Year. We've got Adam Cole, Walter, Johnny Gargano, Velveteen Dream, Tyler Bate, and Tommaso Ciampa.
I was starting to wonder if Ciampa was even going to be in the category because we had already had 6 people, and then they threw him on at the last second. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, for Tag Team of the Year there was 5.
Yeah.
But I guess that's fine. Superstar of the Year, male or female, maybe the pack can open up a little bit. And it was true for female as well. We had 6 contenders there as well. In this one, we had, of course, the champ, Adam Cole, who has had a better year on the male roster than Adam Cole.
No one. Absolutely no one. This one was a dead giveaway. The only way Gargano, I think, would have won is a whole bunch more, or a whole bunch of favoritism just for the fact that he's such a good guy and such a good, just a good wrestler. But Adam Cole, especially in November, which November was just one of the most phenomenal months for a wrestler I think I can remember in a long time.
And so Undisputed Era come out to Empty Sale again. This time, no Regal. He learned his lesson. I think they told him off. Mm-hmm. I can't remember. I was half into it, half out, because I wasn't hearing anything that was moving anything forward or starting anything new. So it was just, promo. Sweet. Hey, Jerry, let me know if he says anything funny. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the only person that even comes close to having the as good of a year as Adam Cole would be the person that won the Women's Superstar of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
That comes up next, and it's between Shayna Baszler, Io Shirai, Toni Storm, Kaylee Ray, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. And honestly, I thought Rhea Ripley had this in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
She won the NXT UK Women's Championship and the NXT Women's Championship, both in the same year, and won the first ever Women's War Games with a 50% handicap.
Yeah, that's the thing about the whole thing. Baszler, she needed assistance on a couple of the wins that she got, from Duke and Shafir. But Rhea Ripley, she went at the whole thing by herself a lot, short of the War Games match or the Survivor Series one. But very seldomly did you ever see her shoulders go to mat. Even with her feud with Piper Niven, as short-lived as that was, Granted, I think she just took that loss because she's on her way to NXT anyway to win the championship there.
And it wasn't Rhea Ripley, it was Shayna Baszler. She is the only other superstar in NXT that has had near as good of a year as Adam Cole. Granted, she ended the year losing the title, but the way she spent the year, holy cow.
Between Baszler and the word restaurant, if you put a gun to my head, I wouldn't be able to spell it right ever. I can go through this book right now and find 30 different spellings of Baszler that I did just by not looking at her name on the screen. I'm like, oh, there's an S in there.
Let's move on to Baszler coming out to #Empty Sale Arena, and I don't even remember anything she fucking said.
Oh, she's saying just because she doesn't have the title on her right now doesn't mean she won't have it again on her soon.
That would make her the first ever 3-time NXT Women's Champion.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like she's going to the main roster before that could happen.
I'm not sure about that. I think they're going to keep her around long enough to get Duke and Shafir, or at least get the 4 horsewomen angle going.
They're going to let you think that until the Royal Rumble. And then there she is. Let's move on to Rivalry of the Year. Now, they didn't even give us a list.
No, they didn't.
I thought this was going to be a list, and they started out with Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole, and they did a really long promo package for it that went from beginning of the rivalry to the end. Well, what we thought was the end, or what we're hoping stays the end.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I'm like, dude, are they going to have time for any of the other content? No, they didn't show any of the other options for Feud of the Year. It was just that one. And I mean, I guess that has to be it. But throughout the rest of the show, at least I was just randomly thinking of other feuds that could have been in there. Dominik Dijakovic versus Keith Lee. There's a good example.
We waited so long for that rematch. And then we got another rematch.
By the time we saw Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano for the 3rd time, we were there live, and we were still like, we don't want to see Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano for a 3rd time. By the time we saw Dominik Dijakovic versus Keith Lee for the 3rd time, we wanted to fucking see
more
those two for the 3rd time.
Or at least tagging up.
We want to see it again. We want to see them in a ring any way we can, even if it's in a tag team. And we got news about that, but that's going to come up later. Let's move on to the next match that they show, I think, isn't it?
The
Women's War Games.
Yeah.
That is 2nd place, the Silver Award for Match of the Year.
And well deserved.
Yeah, they started somewhere after the beginning. They gave us enough time to witness Tegan Knox get taken out by Dakota Kai.
One of the greatest heel turns that I've seen in quite some time. It was by the time she stopped on the stage, you knew what was about to happen, but at the same time, once it unfolded and the viciousness afterwards was just great.
So basically, we enter the match after Kaylee Ray comes out and teases the crowd after getting some stuff, weapons, trash cans, chairs, whatnot, and then goes for the table, but then stops. I love how Kaylee Ray got the crowd heat. Still do, because she did that with the tables, and then she took the opportunity later to fold up the chairs that had been set up in a 4-chair bed in the ring. She folded them up and put them down, but that ended up being part of the women's avalanche spot.
What was really great about that is the second she put down the 3rd chair is when people really started booing harder, and she took her sweet time with the 4th one and just kind of looked out at the crowd, shut the chair up, and threw it on the ground.
But it set up the idea that those chairs should be used that way, which later translates to Rhea Ripley setting up 2 of them like that, and then attempting to set the trash can in it, but then ending up having to use that one to swat Kaylee Ray out of the air, which is karma, because she's the one that brought him in the ring, and then uses the cuffs to thwart Shayna Baszler and put her through the chairs, which is, again, ironic, because Shayna Baszler's the one that was like, hey, here's some handcuffs that so-and-so just dumped out of these fucking trash cans for some reason. And for some reason, Jessica has got the key for it. I'm really so glad also that Jessica got to make the 3 count in that match. For some reason, I know it shouldn't matter.
It seemed fitting.
I know it shouldn't matter though. Like, it's equality is equality. Like, it really doesn't matter which. The fact that she's in the match is great too.
I think the fact that she's the first women's NXT referee, and also the like one of the referees in the first ever women's War Games match, I think it was appropriate that she made the made final count. So,
we got to see that match, most of it, at least the best spots probably. There were probably a few in there beforehand.
The best spot in the entire match was Dakota Kai, and then like Io Shirai coming off the top of the cage, and the Poison Rana off the top rope. Yeah, that thing was a spot fest, and it stole the show. It really did, just from the get go. Like, you could tell the ladies went back there and told the guys, "Good luck."
You know, they did a really good job segueing these awards after the matches that they have to show in a certain order as voted upon by the WWE NXT universe.
Because the Future Star.
Yeah, so we've got Future Star of the Year. The contenders are Kushida, Xia Li, there are a lot of these, by the way, Bronson Reed, Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, Ilya Dragunov, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Ty Nara, and Cameron Grimes. Take a breath. And I was hoping for Cameron Grimes.
You would think so. Like, he came out like out of nowhere, more or less, in the middle of the year.
But when I heard Isaiah Swerve Scott, I was like, you know what? It's gonna be Isaiah Swerve. No, Dakota Kai. Of course, when you said it was ironic. So of course, coming off of the women's War Games match where Dakota Kai, turned heel, Dakota Kai comes out to the ring. And hashtag empty sale university.
She is a future star in the sense that now she's actually got a persona and everything that kind of works for her. But as you alluded to while we were watching it, what's going to happen when Tegan Nox comes back? Will that rivalry actually mean anything? Because Io Shirai and Candice LeRae, that was a good rivalry too, and I'm surprised that didn't come up at all during our discussions, because they actually had some great matches that came out of that, especially the one in Toronto. But the fact that I don't think Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai at this point could put on a rivalry that fierce and that good, seeing what I've seen out of them so far.
Well, let's talk about the Dusty Rhodes Classic.
Yes, let's talk about that.
I thought for some reason we weren't going to get the teams announced until next week, but apparently we're getting them this week, or maybe that was 2 weeks ago.
I think that was the reason why we were actually psyched about doing this, but so much has happened within this past week, my brain's just rotten.
So we finally get the 8 teams that are going to be in the Dusty Rhodes Classic, and nowhere in there is Dominik Dijakovic or Keith Lee, let alone the beautiful, glorious combination that would be that team.
Yeah. Maybe one of the teams will get taken out before they can actually participate in it. Or, go ahead and list off the teams, because we're going to be talking about this for a few.
Okay. Undisputed Era, Forgotten Sons, Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. Where was I? Kushida and a mystery tag team partner. The Grizzle Young Veterans, Gallus, I'm assuming that's Mark Coffey and Wolfgang.
Yeah.
Imperium's Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel.
Don't even say you forgot their names.
And the South Wales Subculture, that is Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews.
Yep.
The guys with way too many names between the two of them.
I already have so many problems with this tournament that it's frightening.
Yeah.
One, what you just talked about was the whole Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic not being in there. 2, the fact that both sets of tag team champions are in the match.
Yeah, so
because you have Gallus and you have Undisputed Era, and the winner of the Dusty Rhodes Classic is supposed to get a guaranteed shot at the tag belts. So that either means those two teams are going to lose in the tournament and have to defend later. That's all it really means, which means like that eliminates those two teams.
Or they're trying to win so that nobody has to face them for the titles. I don't know. What I do know is the NXT UK side looks very solid. Those are the 4 tag teams I would assume would come out of there, save maybe Mustache Mountain replacing any one of those teams, honestly.
Here's the crazy thing about this. If this tournament doesn't really start off until like the week after next, either way, the 4 teams from NXT UK, one of them's going to be the champions.
Yeah, so
we have that ladder match.
As if this isn't enough fucked. Because NXT is like the glory land for women's wrestling. It is the place to watch women's wrestling. Why is the tag team division so shallow that this is all they could come up with?
Mm-hmm.
It's really good over on NXT UK. Like, see what they're doing? They are NXT too, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look over there. It's kind of like when we review NXT UK and we see the vignettes and the promo packages, and we're like, and the way that they set up, you're getting hyped for shows next week and 2 weeks from now, but also the main event for tonight and when they do it and shit like that. And we're like, hey, look over at NXT. They do that right.
Yeah.
This is one of those things that they've got such a good tag team division. And on NXT, it's like every time you get a good tag team, like the War Raiders or the Street Profits, they just disappear.
Mm-hmm. Well, they don't really disappear as much as they go to far less superior brands.
Where they continue to ruin their tag team divisions, too.
Mm-hmm. Say this much, though. Street Profits actually pulled off a victory.
So if it wasn't fucked enough because of that, this might be the last Dusty Rhodes Classic that we get.
Mm-hmm.
From the news that I've heard that's been being reported, Cody Rhodes tried to get the trademark for Dusty Rhodes, like the name for a wrestling personality, but he couldn't get it because Dustin Rhodes has a trademark for his name, and it is so close to the same name, or to Dusty's name, that they wouldn't let it happen, I guess, without Dustin Rhodes' permission. So if Cody gets Dustin Rhodes' permission, then the next time he applies for it, he should get it, which would probably be after this tournament, but definitely not before next year's tournament.
No.
So, this might be our last one. They might rename it and continue having the tag team tournament, but
who do we think that Kushida is going to have as a tag partner, or do we think he may not even have a tag partner and maybe he gets taken out?
It'd be an awesome twist if it was Cameron Grimes, because I think Kushida does look better in Grimes' hat than Grimes does.
Yeah.
That would be a weird-ass twist for no reason, but I would like to see that team.
I wouldn't mind seeing Dijakovic. I know, like, I want the team of Dijakovic and Lee, but at the same time, Dijakovic's not really doing anything right now. And he's already shown that he'd be, he's already good with submissions, he's good with striking, he's good with everything. I think him and Kushida would mesh well together.
I think Kushida and Keith Lee would be cool too, but I think it's going to be more like Kushida and Isaiah Swerve Scott. That's my thoughts. Anyway, let's move on. We get NXT TakeOver of the Year announcement, and again, much like the Feud of the Year, we didn't get a list of everything. We just got the winner.
They just showed the graphic on the back of all the takeovers that they had.
Yeah, and sure enough, it was War Games, which it's hard to argue that.
No, there's really no argument to be had with it, because you had the women's War Games match, which was phenomenal, and
started the show like they gave you the orgasm up front, and then just kind of kept you up there like.
Yep.
Painfully.
We also had Matt Riddle versus Finn Balor in that one, didn't we?
We might have. I don't know. I don't remember. You could look it up. Meanwhile, Breakout Star of the Year, our options are Damian Priest, Piper Niven, for some diabolical reason, Dominic Dijakovic, which makes sense, Angel Garza, which I could see him, considering the list, either in this or in that, what do they call it, Future Star of the Year? But I guess since he won the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, maybe that puts him in this category now.
Yeah.
Other than that, there were a few others, if I can see where I was at. Joe Coffey, Keith Lee, who definitely deserves to be in there, Candice LeRae, who I'm kind of, I guess, Matt Riddle. Well, I mean, she hasn't exactly had the best year. Matt Riddle, which totally makes sense, and Rhea Ripley, which absolutely makes sense. And I just assumed, okay, finally, Rhea Ripley's good. No, Keith Lee, you called this one.
Mm-hmm.
Which, congrats on you. You don't get a point for it or nothing, but congrats.
This is like whose line is it anyway? All of a sudden.
Well, these points definitely don't matter
Nope.
if you got them. In this case, you still didn't. He, instead of going to the ring in, I guess, because it's demeaning, man, it's #Empty Sale University or Empty Sale Arena. Either way, there's no William Regal, there's no empty crowd. He's in the backstage area, and there's Triple H. And I think he says a few things.
He pretty much says
2 words.
Yeah, he just presents the award to Keith Lee.
Here's this guy, and Keith Lee says as only Keith Lee could say those Keith Lee things that Keith Lee says. He
called him Limitless Keith Lee, and he said that he's gonna bask in the glory of the fans because of all their votes and everything, which I thought that was really nice of him.
So Jerry, what was match of the year in 2019?
Well, seemingly, according to all the voters and whatnot, the first 2 out of 3 falls match between Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole.
I feel like they're right. We got to witness the second 2 out of 3 falls match between Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole in Toronto at TakeOver. And based on the finish and how I felt after that match, I remember how I felt. I felt like that match went on way too long for what it was in the beginning. And definitely the first one. The first one was worth watching. It was the first match. It was a 2 out of 3 falls. It boosted Johnny Gargano through the ceiling right before he went takeover to takeover and then lost the belt after getting the North American Championship and having it all of, well, I mean, in real time, a couple of days maybe. And then the second match was great because Adam Cole won the title. And even though he's a heel, everybody loves Adam Cole, baby.
It's hard not to. It's pretty much like anytime Shawn Michaels is a heel, people loved it in pieces too. And that's what you see when you see Adam Cole. You see the next Shawn Michaels.
By the time we got Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano 3, we were tired of it.
Yeah, we were burnt out.
And I definitely think that was the match of the year. You thought it was going to be Men's War Games.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, definitely. I kind of thought it might have been the second match where Adam Cole won, where it was just one match. But I guess if you're going to pit that one against the first one, where you've got 3 matches in one, 3 great matches, by the way, in one, sure. So other than that, we have one more award that they decided to give away, the one we said we thought was unfair. But they did anyway, and Adam Cole racks up his 4th fucking end of the year Golden Bell.
Oh, we forgot to mention this earlier. Kyle O'Reilly just walking out to the ring playing turntables on the bell at this point.
Instead of using it as a guitar or something, that was very clever.
Well, he was wearing the tag belt, I think, at that point.
So he should have gone from guitar to.
Yeah. It would have been very Rage Against Machine-ish.
All of Undisputed Era come out again, and all of them have to come out because they are carrying 5 bells to the ring because of the Feud of the Year, also Match of the Year, and by
Tag Team of the Year, yeah.
The end of this promo again by Adam Cole, where he's
6.
just like, "Hey, we're the best. Told you."
Lots of gold, lots of hardware in general.
6 of these sons of bitches,
and 4 title belts.
And I'm wondering where you get those things in bulk. You know, because you want a discount. You just bought like 15 of them bastards. Like,
you just
half of them went to the Undisputed Era.
They just make them at full sale in the wood shop.
Yep. That's. Meanwhile, I think that brings us to the end of this episode of What's NXT. Normally, we would rate the main event.
But there was no main event.
There was nothing. So, what do you want to do? You want to rate something?
No, I don't want to rate.
You want to rate the year? Ooh, I want to rate the year.
All right, we'll go ahead and rate the year then.
For NXT, okay, For most of the year, it was the taped product. We got 1 hour a week. Most weeks, we didn't get to see people, 2 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's so spaced out, and you're always dodging spoilers. But then, they went live.
Yes.
And it has been beautiful.
Yes.
For the last several months. And,
I was actually legitimately worried for a long time, but then they're still doing the shows at Full Sail. They're doing great 2-hour programs where they really don't let up at all.
If I was going to give it a B, it's easily gotten shot to an A minus.
Yeah.
For the year, A minus. So I'll call that 4.25 stars. What about you?
Well, I'm right with you there. Like pretty much either 4.25 or 4.5.
4.5. That would be an A minus, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because then an A would be 4.75, and an A plus would be 5. Okay, so I'm with you. 4.5.
4.5 stars
for the year. What a weird thing to rate using the General's 5-star rating system.
Well, it's our first full year actually covering the product.
Yeah, holy crap. What are the odds? So that brings us to the end of this episode of What's NXT. And join us tomorrow for the NXT party where we will be reviewing episode, I think it's 76.
76.
Of NXT UK. I think we're going to have Colin on here. I think we're going to have Noah on here.
Both Colin and Noah. We've actually already got people booked up for the next couple weeks.
Yeah. Unless one of you want to jump in line and help us review a future episode of NXT UK.
Mm-hmm.
When it's your first time, you get the screen all by yourself. Guaranteed, my friend. Guaranteed. We'll put you in the NXT chat room, give you a cool nickname, or let you pick one out yourself. We let you do that because I don't want to give you a nickname you don't want.
So sometimes we're just uncreative.
All of that jazz. So if you want to join us, you can find me on Twitter. Go to nodq.com/Stefan. That's Stefan. Or if you just want to look me up on Twitter, it's at Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for restricted. You can also find the gentleman on Twitter.
At General_JSJ, my Facebook group Armbar, all capital ARMBAR.
The exclamation point!
We also have an Instagram page now, ran by Colin Andrew. He's doing a fantastic job of that.
That's aftermatch_wrestling. You can find me on Instagram as well at osborne.stefan, where I don't have any content, but follow me if you want to. You can also find me on Patreon at Stefan R. Osborne if you want to help the channel, and you can do so that way. If you cannot, and you have a little bit of time, click that like button over here if you like the show. If you like all the shows, click the subscribe button. That'll let you know when future shows come on so you can watch those too.
Shows where we talk about matches.
And if you want to help us grow the channel, click the share button. Share us on Twitter or Facebook. Now's a good time to do it because this is just the outro bullshit. But if you have any other way that you'd like to be up on the big screen and help us review a show, you can leave it down in the comments. We'll email you. Have Skype though and watch the show, and we'll work around your schedule if we can. Other than that, for the General Jerry Slaughter, I am the Rated R reviewer Stefan Osborne. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you in NXT time.